Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Brandon, aka the BrandoCritic, and I just recently posted my top 10 favorite films of the year, so naturally we gotta get this list out of the way. These are my top 10 worst films of 2021. Now, same disclaimers as always. Number 1, I have not seen absolutely every single movie that came out this year, so Snake Eyes is not on this list. And number 2, this is just my own personal opinion, so don't take it too seriously. And thank you so much to Movie Scene Canada for all the support this year, and thank you so much to the studios for allowing me to attend all these press screenings, even though these 10 were not the most enjoyable. And just like the previous video, I already have reviews for all of these movies, so if you want to see my in-depth analysis, then go check out those videos, the links will be in the description. So, starting off at number 10, we have Mortal Kombat. And again, guys, this isn't really a terrible movie, but I found it to be just tonally lost and very mediocre with lackluster characters. That's all I really have to say about it. Number 9 is The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. Now, I just saw The Hitman's Bodyguard a couple days before watching that movie, and I enjoyed it for the most part. But this one fell into the sequel trap, where it was trying too hard to recapture the magic of the first movie. It just felt like it was trying so hard to be funny, trying so hard to up the ante in terms of the action, but I couldn't really tell what was happening. It wasn't very funny, it was very mediocre, and I felt like the movie was very mean-spirited, which I didn't like at all. Number 8 is The Ice Road, and like I said in that video, the best way I can describe this movie is like an old, clunky, rusty 18-wheeler that drives the ice roads. It's not a very enjoyable ride, it's cold, it's bumpy. Eventually you do get to your destination, but it's not the most enjoyable ride to get there. That's The Ice Road. Number 7 is Mogul Mowgli. Now, I know that this movie gets good reviews, and I understand why my film school brain can say like, okay, well, I understand that, I understand that, I understand that. I enjoy what this film was trying to do, but I gotta be honest, for my overall enjoyment of the movie, I didn't have any. It was slow, it was boring, and it was pretentious. And on top of that, bland. And that's never a good sign. Number 6 is F9 The Fast Saga, and now this is where we get into the real crap of the year. I've never seen a more self-indulgent, tonally deaf movie, I think, in my entire life. It was over the top, but it took itself way too seriously. It wasn't tongue-in-cheek, and my suspension of disbelief had a real workout in this movie, even for a Fast and Furious movie. And trust me, I like this franchise, but this one was just dumb. Number 5 is Clifford the Big Red Dog, and like I said in that video, I can enjoy a family film. This isn't me just as an adult going like, oh, this movie's for kids, therefore it is not artistically sound. It's not like that at all. This movie is heartless and soulless. Didn't feel genuine, terrible pacing, not funny. The CGI was just distracting and awful, and I think the only thing that this movie is good for is to put it on in the back seat of the Dodge Caravan just to shut the kids up. That's it. Number 4 is Stowaway. Now, this film had an interesting concept, but by God, there was no tension whatsoever. It was boring, it was bland. They didn't go the action thriller route, nor did they go down the mind-bending drama or the themes of morality route either. And on top of that, just the logic flaws completely overshadowed the movie. It was not a fun watch. Number 3 is Thunder Force. Now, this movie isn't very long, but by God, it felt like the longest film I've seen this year. Most of the jokes didn't land, a lot of the characters in the movie didn't really know what kind of movie that they were in, so they were at odds with one another. And I've seen almost every single aspect of this movie done better in other movies. I've even seen crappier Netflix movies that are more enjoyable to watch than this one. Number 2 is Old, and I cannot believe how split people are on this movie. It really baffles me because I, quite frankly, hated it. The clunky, weird dialogue, the unnatural acting. And the biggest problem for me is that the characters didn't feel like real people. There was absolutely no way for me to get connected into this story at all, because I can't relate to any of these people because they don't feel like people. The editing and the pacing was awful. It was baffling, confusing, annoying, and frustrating because there is a moment in this movie where you're like, oh, okay, interesting. That's an interesting twist. Okay, I'm sort of on board for it. But by that point, it's too late. And number 1 is Let Us In. Now, I gotta be honest with you guys. I feel kind of bad putting this movie at number 1 because it didn't come out in theaters. It is a straight-to-video movie. But the studio did reach out to me and say, hey, would you like to review it? So I think on those grounds, it counts for a movie that I've seen this year and can be on this list. But I feel bad about it because, 1, the acting is very bad, but there's no budget in this movie. The direction is very lazy, the cinematography is not good, the CGI is not good, the effects, the makeup, but this film had no budget. But you know what doesn't need a budget? Creativity and vision. And this film has absolutely none of it. When you're laughing horrendously at the dialogue of these characters, when you're laughing hysterically about how these characters are acting in these certain situations, when you're laughing at all of the creative choices in the screenplay, it's a very bad sign. It almost got into the category of so bad it's good, like it was an enjoyable time watching it, but I gotta say, this was the worst movie for me in 2021. So a quick recap. Number 10, Mortal Kombat. Number 9, The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. Number 8, The Ice Road. Number 7, Mogul Mowgli. Number 6, F9 The Fast Saga. Number 5, Clifford the Big Red Dog. Number 4, Stowaway. Number 3, Thunder Force. Number 2, Old. And number 1, Let Us In. Those are the worst movies of the year. No, Matrix Resurrections did not make it on the list. No, Coming to America didn't make it on the list. And no, Eternals didn't make it on the list. I'm going to assume that Eternals will make it onto some people's lists because it's a Marvel movie and it's so divisive and people really hated it. But again, I've not seen any of their top 10 worst lists, but I want to hear yours, so leave them down in the comment section down below. I love hearing them. And again, guys, thank you so much for all the support this year. I hope you had a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year. I'll see you in 2022. Take care.